Rich.
They chased one goal relentlessly.
He could have just kicked back out in the suburbs, you know, milked a couple cows, but he had other plans.
Through struggles,
all the depression was caving in. There were just too many close things to him crumbling at the time.
And setbacks.
Jive treated him like a stepchild, like an unwanted stepchild.
He told me, what if I have to work in a car wash the rest of my life?
Some people are just driven. An ambitious small-town boy's defiant pursuit of superstardom.
Hip-hop was totally against what his parents was preaching to him.
People didn't know he was a rich white kid because he didn't betray a rich white kid.
Never before seen images, stories, and revelations from the people who know what really happened.
He showed me a picture of it, and I'm looking like, I know this ain't his child.
Because they lived it with him.
He's always had that smart-ass, cocky attitude from day one.
This is Driven. Kid Rock.
Bob Ritchie was born on January 17th, 1971 in Romeo, Michigan.
It was the epitome of small-town America. You know, everybody knew everything about everybody.
Here we go.
His parents' house where he grew up was a little kid playground, pool, tennis courts, basketball courts, horses.
They had a 3- or 4-car garage up near the street. It was on a private drive.
Bobby's family actually lived in a pretty good-sized apple orchard.
His mom enjoyed music, and I remember listening to Styx, REO Speedwagon, some Bob Seger.
His dad owned a car dealership and was a very wealthy businessman. He started with nothing and built the whole thing from the ground up. Mr. Ritchie pushed the kids to be successful. He set a lot of standards with the family and with each kid.
Bobby and I were playing in our tree fort. His brother Billy was on the tractor, and somehow or other he fell off.
Billy fell off to the side, and his leg got under the mower, and it just sawed it off.
Our folks made us go back into the house, and I remember a lot of hysteria, looking through the window and seeing an ambulance up on the hill. We just knew that he was hurt bad, but I don't think we knew at that time that he was going to lose his leg.
Mr. Ritchie really pushed Bobby, and Bobby became the focus. You're going to be the successful son. That accident changed the dynamic of what was expected out of Billy versus what was expected out of him.
The household chores were extreme. The biggest chore was cutting grass.
He used to complain that it'd take him 7 hours to cut the grass.
He would always put his headphones on and go out there, and he just despised it.
He disliked doing the yard chores because it was kind of his dad jabbing at him to, hey, you got to do it this way. And I'm sure whatever way Bob did it, his dad had a better way to do it.
He was a popular, outgoing kid, always pretty much a step ahead, trend-wise. Michael Jackson had his little Motown reunion where he first did the moonwalk. That was the talk of school the following day. And Bobby came in and nailed the routine. If he heard that 30 seconds of breakdancing was going to be on the news.
This is called breakdancing. It's a competitive display of style. Dance as a form of ritual warfare.
He'd have it videotaped in. He'd watch that 30 seconds over and over again.
Ritual warfare, 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 warfare.
Michael Jackson's influence definitely inspired him to get the Furious Funkers rolling.
The Furious Funkers were my oldest brother, Tristan, Bobby, and myself. Burger King sponsored us. We'd unplug the salad bar. Bobby had a great big jam box. Down would go linoleum, and then we'd start dancing right there.
The Furious Funkers were something else.
Bobby would just poke his head fearlessly inside of someone's wedding, walk right up to the bride or the groom and say, hey, you want us to dance for you? Put a hat out, everybody throw money in it. It wasn't uncommon to make a couple $100 in a night.
I first met Bobby Ritchie in 1983. His mom brought him to the dancing school. She said he wanted to take jazz with his sister Jill. When Bobby did the jazz dancing, he was a little stiff. He told me he could do breakdancing. So I said, well, as a special number, we'll throw it in somewhere.
I'd like to introduce Bobby Ritchie.
When he performed the breakdance number in the recital, it was just a smash. There were whistles and hoots and shouts.
He could spin on his head, and it was pretty amazing.
They were in awe. They just thought he was just it.
I met Bobby in 1984. I was coaching 7th grade football. He played quarterback for me. Bobby was unusually cocky. He had it in his mind what he was going to do, whether you liked it or not. For some reason, he didn't show up for practice one day. And when you don't show up for practice around the football team, you kind of let everyone down. I made him run, and he didn't want to do it. I mean, he blatantly said, I'm not going to do it.
He was just a rebellious kid.
Always had an answer for everything.
I don't know if he ever finished the season out or not.
Bob was big in rap. That was his thing.
Hip-hop and old-school rap.
We were both on the junior high basketball teams. Our theme song was Run DMC's Hard Times. Hard Times. That was the song. So he was on the tip before anybody was on the tip.
They used to do a radio program on WJLB here in Detroit. As soon as he heard the big beats, the lyric patterns, rhyme schemes, and he said he was hooked.
He got his equipment from his parents, a couple turntables and some speakers. He pretty much locked himself in his room for hours on end and just dabbled.
Every now and then he'd play something for you, and he'd ask you what you thought of it. Most of the time we're like, yeah, put it away.
Around 8th, 9th grade, really seriously started getting into DJing some of our junior high dances. Talking about a kid who had equipment, was making $500 on a Friday. He's throwing a dance for 9th graders. Every week he has stacks of money.
Me and my friends would always help him carry his records. We just had crates upon crates of records, and he'd pay us with alcohol.
He liked black music, and he liked black girls. I remember him being caught in the bathroom with some black girls, kissing or whatnot.
His girlfriend at Romeo High School was black.
She had an attitude that would match his. Man, hellish pair.
Some people made fun of Bob, called him Black Bob.
Bob didn't see people in color. He really didn't. He was about the least prejudiced person I've probably ever met.
I kind of inherited Bobby when he was about 15. He was in another classroom, and I think he was probably having a few problems. I looked at his notebook, and there wasn't anything in it. As a matter of fact, it was lyrics for songs.
He would write lyrics in just about all his classes.
He didn't want to learn how to solve math problems.
Bob wanted to be like a DJ or a rock star rapper. He had his hair standing up like the whole kid and play thing going on.
Well, he kind of looked like he touched a lightning rod.
A lot of people made fun of him, and, he'd walk down the hall and they're like, oh, God, what is that?
Sophomore year, we started going to Detroit a lot more, going to a lot of clubs.
We just started spending more time out of Romeo and just started picking up on different cultures and different people. Thought, I don't need to be a prototype country kid. There's plenty of stuff out here that I want to learn about.
Bobby was a very determined young man. Romeo had never seen anybody like Bobby Ritchie.
Coming up, Bob heads to the hood and tries to make a name for himself.
I said, well, you being a white guy, you sure you want to get down with this? He said, yeah, I want to show people what I can do.
You ever see Animal House when they walk into the barn and music stops and everyone's staring at them? That's kind of how the vibe was. Then, Kid Rock gets his first taste of success.
Jive offered him the deal while he was in high school, and his parents didn't want him to sign it.
He signed it.
And later, he hits rock bottom in New York.
He was the worst I ever seen, ever.
He was definitely partying.
It was just too many close things to him crumbling at the time.
7, he was DJing a party. I got his car, and I went out to his house the next day. He showed us all the little tricks he can do on the turntable. We showed him what we can do, told him what kind of parties we get down on.
Groove Time Productions was a production made up of myself and my partner, Bo. We threw most of the house parties, just kind of serving the community.
Mount Clemens was the hot spot at that time. We had people coming from Detroit to party.
He said, oh, I love to be a part of that. I said, well, you know, you being a white guy, I'm being a black guy from the hood. You sure you want to get down with this? He said, yeah, I want to show people what I can do.
We lined him up a basement party.
We were about the only white people in the crowd.
He walked up to me. He was a little kid. He said, hey, can I get on the turntables?
It was kind of taboo for white guys in Mount Clemens to rap and to break dance and to DJ.
Everybody was real skeptical. Nobody danced. Everybody was just staring at him. Staring.
So hit it!
You ever see Animal House when they walk into the barn and music stops and everyone's staring at them? That's kind of how the vibe was.
You had about 70, 80 people in the basement just staring at this white guy.
We are gonna die.
Come on. Yeah.
And he was just going through turntable tricks, picking the turntable up, spinning it.
The standard turntables were Technic 1200s. And he had these rinky-dink Sears brand.
He was fierce with the scratch. Fierce.
When he did it, he would take his finger at the bottom of the record and kind of get his tongue going in the cheek and just cutting, and it was just like, wow.
It was kind of shocking to see a little white kid do that.
And from there, everybody in the basement, whoa, check the white kid out on the turntables and whatnot. That's kind of where he got his name Kid Rock from. And it was like, oh, check out that white kid, he can rock.
We was doing parties every night of the week.
But he would just DJ parties in the projects where no 17-year-old white kid would dare ever go.
His father did not like him around us at all.
Hip-hop was totally against what his parents was preaching to him.
His parents had the aspects of him going to college, getting into the business of what his dad does.
They thought he was going to end up in the gutter. You know how hard it is in this business.
When you're a young kid and your parents tell you to do something, but there's so much going on in the outside world, you're like, the hell with that. I'm going with them. I take the punishment when I come back.
He said, well, if you're going to get in my way, I'm going to go around you.
He could have just kicked back out in the suburbs, you know, milked a couple cows, you know, cut the grass, but he had other plans.
In high school, he ran away from home to Mount Clemens and pretty much lived in the black community.
Y'all might call it running away. I say he stepped to the next level.
We made sure he was fed.
Gave him a place to stay, because I think he had to get his head together.
He was broke some days, we was broke. When we got money, he had money.
My whole lifestyle switched hard, putting in hours at the 76 car wash.
He worked at a car wash during the day, DJ'd at night. I think it showed him how hard this world can be.
People didn't know he was a rich white kid because he didn't betray a rich white kid. When Bob came to the hood, he just was shorts and t-shirt and painter ball cap and some airwalks. A lot of police used to stop him. Actually, was he a drug dealer or was he on crack? And Bob's like, no, I'm out here DJing. And he's like, what you doing over here in a black neighborhood DJing?
He was a man in Mount Clemens. From doing the big cabarets and the big halls to the basement parties in the house, you know.
I started out in Mount Clemens as a DJ. Parties getting drunk on a Sunday.
We used to make nothing but flyers with Kid Rock name on it, and people was coming. I mean, it was coming from all over.
1,500 kids in a building. Massive speakers, turntables, the music, you know. A rave before it was a rave.
All the women in the neighborhood love, oh, Kid Rock, oh, Kid Rock. I mean, after every party we do, he's leaving with somebody. You know, hey, can I borrow your couch for a minute? Yeah.
I'm Kid Rock, got the Lord. You might get a lot of, I get much more.
Bob was big into black women. Big in it. Loved them by the pound.
He just smiled. And when he smiled, them girls just be talking to him, he'll leave with them.
His mother at one point just got kind of worried, you know, wanted to know where he was. She hadn't heard from him.
He was gone for about 2 or 3 months.
So she found my number. And she called me and said, you know, have you seen one? I was like, yeah. You know, once he cool off and figure out what's really going on, he'll be on his way back home.
His mom just pretty much begged him to come home, and he came home.
Bob knew he wanted a record deal, and so to get a record deal, he had to put a tight demo together.
He started making his first demos on a 4-track.
that he had in his house.
The attorney in Detroit. He got Kid Rock a deal.
Kid Rock got hooked up to Jive Records.
They were looking for a white rapper. Jive saw what Def Jam was doing with the Beastie Boys, and hey, why not? Let's try to capitalize on that thing, too.
Jive offered him the deal while he was in high school still, and his parents didn't want him to sign it.
He signed it.
It was a very big shock. Somebody from out of Detroit don't got signed on a major.
Was definitely top 2 or 3 rap labels in the country at the time. It was a very serious issue.
At that point, he was making his mark, and he wasn't even 18 yet.
We'd like to welcome you to our 1989 Romeo High School commencement ceremony.
Bob couldn't fit his cap on over his hair, so he went without the cap because he didn't want to mess up his hair.
Robert James Ritchie.
All I remember about graduation was the superintendent was shaking everyone's hand, and when Bob went up there, he flipped him off, you know, gave him the finger. His mom took a picture of it. They had it in their basement, and then I don't think his parents ever noticed it.
Bob was just kind of happy to be out of high school because he just thought that was just kind of a waste of his time and that he was going off and making music. That fall, he went off to New York to work on his very first album.
It was like really kind of cutting edge, and it had like a kind of tongue-in-cheek quality to it. Yodeling in the Valley and all those other songs. He's got a great sense of humor.
It was a little white boy with his freaky tales. He was nasty, raunchy.
You listen to it and it was just like, what the hell is this?
Everybody was just kicking back, just looking to see what kind of houses and cars they was gonna get out of this. Because I know this is it. This is guaranteed at least no less than 6-7 million.
The Straight from the Underground tour that we went on featured Ice Cube, Too Short, Bob, myself.
That was big time. To us, Ice Cube was huge and D Nice. We love those guys.
The audience reaction to Bob was a little weird. He was this white boy doing hip-hop, and these spots were, like, rough.
If Kid Rock would have ran right out there, high top fade, by himself, it would have been nothing but beer bottles. Black man was in demand. He set the pace for Kid Rock. And I think Kid Rock got routine to that, because I think he had a lot of jitters.
So every night, I had to tell Kid Rock, look, man, dig this. We playing 20,000-seat arenas, man, large black audiences. So what we gonna do is you go out on the stage first, and I walk on stage behind you. In the middle of the set, 20,000 people crying, screaming, yay, yay, you know, because we went out and put it down.
That tour was definitely a big break for Bob.
There was no way this guy could lose. And then, out of nowhere, Vanilla Ice came.
Coming up, Kid Rock gets the cold shoulder.
Jive kind of looked at him like, I don't know now. I don't think this is going to work for us.
Jive treated him like an unwanted stepchild.
Then, some startling news.
She came up to him and said, hey, I'm pregnant with your child.
Man. And later, Kid Rock adds a little flavor to his act.
He was like, bitch, I'm 21. And Bob was just like, holy shit. You know, like, do you want a job?
Yo, Vanilla, kick it one time, boy.
We were sitting around one time watching a Vanilla Ice video when he first came out.
Oh, yeah.
Bob was just laughing. He never thought that Vanilla Ice would get as big as he did.
Play that funky music, Vanilla Ice.
At the time, Bob would get compared to Vanilla Ice.
Go, white boy, go.
And he didn't want to be Vanilla Ice. No way, no way, no way.
Vanilla Ice was a total commercial, you know, hand job.
Right, baby.
He definitely think that Vanilla Ice slowed his career because he made white guys look like clowns.
Boom.
Jive kind of looked at him like, I don't know now. I don't think this is going to work for us. And so I think they, like, kind of stopped returning calls.
Jive treated him like a stepchild, like an unwanted stepchild.
You never really got much airplay.
Jive didn't do shit, no tour support, nothing.
They put him on a big show, but they didn't want to push him as a household name with the advertisement, the videos, the whole nine.
I would tell people, listen, I mean, don't write this guy off just because he's a quote-unquote white rapper. He's extremely talented.
Jive is definitely a good company, but if you don't feel that you have 100% of their support, you're never going to be happy.
Kid Rock attitude was with them, F you, man. My old man got money, and, you know, he went in there telling them people what to do. And they was like, hey, man, you don't tell us. Well, check this out. We won't even promote this record.
Grit Sandwiches didn't make any money for Jive. Commercially, it was a failure.
They just let him out the contract. They terminated.
I think it devastated Kid Rock, like, what the hell am I gonna do now?
As soon as Continuum heard that he split, you know, they snapped him up. He flew out and met with Tim Bragg.
When I first met Bob, his persona was cocky, arrogant. I'm going to do it. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what happens. I know that I should be big, and I will be big.
They said, you know, hey, I got this offer to go out to New York to Continuum. You guys want to come with me? And we're like, you know, hell yeah. And we moved to Brooklyn.
White boy get ready to do his thing. He said he had to get in touch with his whiteness. Deep inside, he felt it's over for the hip-hop thing. The black community is not going to accept me now. So when the Beastie Boys picked up instruments and started playing, I think Kid Rock was like, there it is. I mean, they can do it, I can do it.
So I think we gave him $150, and he went out and bought this piece of trash guitar that, you know, he loved.
He taught himself how to play the guitar. He playing Hank Williams Jr. You know, he playing Aerosmith. He's playing all these different type of white music.
Back from the dead, second LP, here we go.
The recording Polyfuse was a labor of love.
We would actually go to the studio together, sit there all night and mix or, you know, tweak songs or redo drum sounds.
You know, he wanted to tweak every little thing till it's exactly right.
Come on, yeah.
He's like, you know what, I got this beat that I just did a few weeks ago. I'm going to run and go get it, and I'll see you here tomorrow. He jumps in his car, drives 10 hours to Detroit, picks up a 2-inch, turns around and drives back, and is at the studio the next day. When I first met Uncle Cracker, Matt would drive with him back and forth from New York to Detroit on a regular basis.
Sometimes we would drive just to write songs. He'd bring a tape full of tracks, notebooks, and just roll.
He was pretty much left on his own. He was given a budget to work with and said, you know, go off and do your thing.
This is where he can build another name for himself. Not Kid Rock, the DJ, not Kid Rock, the hip-hop rapper, this Kid Rock.
That's right, motherfuckers. I'm back.
When he finished the album, he was really proud of it.
Musically, it was more rock.
Polyfuse was him. That was Kid Rock. And if you listen to the lyrics, I mean, Trippin' with Dick Vitale pretty much speaks for itself.
Too many drinks and now I can't stop switching.
There's tracks in there about his parents, about his father, like my Oedipus complex.
You ain't nothing to me. You never been to me.
It was something creatively he wanted to get out.
It was really about Bob. It was about the artist that he wanted to become and the music that he wanted to make.
Just shake your booty. Shake your booty.
He knew that a video could break you, that a video could create a star.
So we shot a video to You Don't Know Me.
Here we go. From Japan to Romeo.
They're like go-go dancers in the video.
They spent about $100,000 on the video, and it was garbage.
It started out when I was 6, just telling dirty jokes.
MTV didn't pick it up. I don't think Continuum really had the resources behind them to push Bob's album properly.
Know me.
I think Continuum really messed up then.
Continuum as a label, they burned through that money, you know, like prunes through a goose.
I was spending quite a lot of money on an artist that really wasn't selling a lot of records, but nobody really felt, except a couple of the people at the label, passionately about Bob and that he could go to the next level. I was parting ways with the label, and rather than have Bob tied up in red tape, I said, you know, take your stuff and run.
When the Continuum thing fell apart, I was like, damn, here we go again.
Continuum really wiped them out emotionally. They were really frustrated. Bob would go back and forth from New York quite a bit to visit Kelly.
Kelly was his high school sweetheart.
Black chick, white guys is a new
maybe. I don't know, but yo, it never fazed me.
Him and Kelly were kind of off and on. She came up to him and said, hey, I'm pregnant with your child.
Man. He stuck it out for 9 months, I don't know why.
Kelly said, you know, hey, it's time to go.
Bob was driving her to the hospital, and Bob had to actually pull over and take part in the whole birthing process.
She actually gave birth to that child in his car. They named the baby Liberty.
She was born on the 4th of July, and it was a real big inspirational point for him.
He was like, hey, man, let me show you a picture of my child. So he showed me a picture of her, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking to myself, now he know this ain't his child. The baby just kept getting darker and darker and darker.
She didn't quite look like Bob, and people started to question whether she was Bob's or not. So Bob, with the encouragement of his, friends and his family, got a paternity test.
That's when she admitted that she had an affair with someone else. And that hurt Bob. Of course, it hurt Bob quite a bit.
He was the worst I ever seen him, ever. He was bad. He was horrible. And I think he got into some heavy drug using at the time. Heavy drug using.
He was definitely partying. I mean, I've seen him out of control more than once.
I think all the depression was caving in. I think it was just too many close things to him crumbling at the time.
It was basically the point in his life where he hit rock bottom.
He told me privately, he said, what if I have to work in a car wash the rest of my life?
He was looking to be the next big thing out of Michigan, and he just was trying to find some direction on which way to go.
That's what basically brought him back to Detroit, back to his roots, to find himself, to reestablish his career.
I went and got him, helped him move back.
You go back home and lick your wounds, and that's what he did.
A lot of that depression, you ain't stopping me. You know what I'm saying? I may be devastated with all this bad stuff happening right now. You ain't gonna stop me.
Coming up, Kid finds a real reason to rock.
Well, I think when Kid Rock had his child, it was like, whoa, this is no longer a game no more. This is serious business now.
Then, when the industry turns its back on him, he takes matters into his own hands.
He was a promotion machine.
He figured out, I want to have to show these motherfuckers that I can actually sell my own records.
And later, the clock is ticking on Kid Rock's career.
A lot of people kind of thought that this might be his last resort.
The pressure was on. He really felt that this is it, motherfucker. I'm going platinum.
Bob's relationship with Kelly ended after the results of the paternity test.
I think they loved each other to death, but they were just both so intense and rebellious that it just didn't work out.
They stopped getting along quite as well after the incident with the other guy's kid.
But by then, she was already pregnant with Junior, his son. When Junior was born, there was no denying Junior is a spitting image of Bob.
Well, I think when Kid Rock had his child, I think it really focused him on finding himself as a person.
Kelly, she had given him the full custody of raising the son.
It was like, whoa, this is no longer a game no more. This is serious business now.
He was very determined to make sure that he could take care of his son the best that he could.
When you see him out, he was Kid Rock, but at home, he was like Ward Cleaver, kind of.
Junior is to be sentimental is what he lives for.
That was his motivating force right there, to be the best he could be for his son. Bob was playing local shows, and he was pretty strapped for some cash.
Bob had a loyal crowd following, and people within his hometown wanted to see him succeed.
He was like, man, I'm touring. People loving his music. So that's when he took initiative. I got to put another album out.
We recorded Early Morning Stone Pimp in some shifty little room off to the corner of a studio in Detroit called White Room.
White Room Studios was one of the top-known studios to work with.
The owners worked out a really cool deal with him.
He would clean the studio up, as like rent.
He was actually sweeping the floors and getting all the returnable cans in order. And he was basically the janitor.
But in return, what they gave him was a B-room.
We let him take over the back room, and from that point on, he pretty much was a permanent fixture down at the studio.
We moved in there, put up some posters, and it was all good. It was kind of like a club for us, almost.
He'd be there till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
He was in there all the time.
Had a 40 Budweiser in the bag of Doritos. burritos and he'd make songs all night.
Spent a couple of months in this smoky room, eating shrooms, drinking booze, writing tunes.
Early Morning Stone Pimp, Bob put out on his own label.
Bob went independent and started Top Dog Records.
That was created after the Romeo Bulldog High School mascot with like a rap chain around it.
He always talks about being in charge of your own destiny.
When it was time to press up the Early Morning Stone Pimp album, he didn't want to, but he asked his father for a $5,000 loan. He did not want to ask his father for shit. It took a lot of pride for him to do that. He wanted to put it out independently because he knew to get the respect, finally, from a major label. He figured out, I want to have to show these motherfuckers that I can actually sell my own records. Early Morning Stone Pimp was a huge local success.
It was back to rap. It was back to basics and back to what he knew.
He created this Midwestern buzz.
That was big around here, and everybody had it, and everybody knew the word.
I think he sold close to 30,000 copies of that record on his own.
He was a promotion machine.
Any T-shirt Kid Rock pressed up, it was out of there. It was sold out. I mean, he couldn't even keep them. Kids was eating it up in the suburbs.
He didn't have anyone doing the work for him now, so he was working his ass off.
All of a sudden, it was his money he was playing with, so things were a lot more budgeted.
If Bob didn't get something for free, or damn near free, he didn't want it. He had tons of interns working for free just to help him out. Websiting, spreading the word.
He would tell them, you do flyering for me, then we'll provide you with a Top Dog jacket.
He's a shark as a businessman.
It ain't no party like a Detroit party when you're in the fucking house with Kid Rock.
Bob's major way of providing money was putting on his shows.
Kid Rock's in the motherfucking house!
It started out, we'd do like one show in Detroit, like one every 6 months.
What's up, y'all, Detroit?
There would be a big span of time in between shows, so you would really want to go see a Kid Rock show. He'd make the posters, and it would say Kid Rock, huge. He set it up so that everybody was like, oh, this is the biggest thing that's going on right now.
He said, if you act like you're big shit, then people are going to think you're big shit. His shows were always over the top with the girls and the band and, DJ and everything.
The big lit up Kid Rock thing, everything was planned to a T. He was doing 2-hour shows unsigned, and there wasn't nobody leaving.
Not only was he very talented musically, but he knew image-wise he had to have something.
And then Joey C came into the picture.
I remember looking out into the crowd and seeing this little kid standing on a table, singing every word to the show.
I'm like, what's this little kid doing in here? It's past curfew.
By the end of the show, I remember Bob smacking hands with him. He's like, what's up, little man? He thought he was a little kid there with his parents or something like that. He was like, bitch, I'm 21. And Bob was just like, holy shit. Do you want a job?
He told me that this was going to be kind of like his Flavor Flav.
He would just run around the stage barking at people, and people loved him.
Joe C's in the house! What up,
Joe C was unique. That's the only way you can put him.
He made people smile, and that was his involvement. Joey was Joey, and he's irreplaceable.
Every show he did in Detroit was sold out, huge.
And that's where he really started to push to the different labels to come out and take a look at him.
Bob took this huge venue, the biggest, the best, right in the middle, smack down of downtown Detroit.
It was a very stressful time for him leading up to that show.
This one had to be top-notch.
We busted our ass to promote it.
With the label reps attending that show, he had to make a statement.
A lot of people kind of thought that this might be his last resort. I remember saying, I hope this really goes good, because if he doesn't get signed doing Early Morning Stone Pimp, then I don't know what's going to happen from there.
Coming up, Kid gets the deal on his own terms.
He's like, I want a major amount of money. I want some Michael Jackson shit. I want some Elvis shit.
But the public just isn't buying it.
When his album came out and the first 8 months that wasn't selling, he was like, damn.
I remember calling certain radio stations myself 20, 30 times to try to get them to put the record on the air.
first time I actually became aware of Bob, he was sending me demos, and it was clear that Kid Rock was moving a lot of tickets and an enormous amount of merchandise in Detroit.
We agreed that we needed to make a pilgrimage to Detroit and go see what was going on.
Kid Rock invited all of the other major labels to come to the same show, and Jason and I were the only ones who showed up.
The State Theater, everybody from high school was there. You know, it was kind of like a family reunion.
His mother, his father, his brother Billy, they were right there by his side.
Everybody was backstage like it was a celebration, like this is it. With him and his father, I guess once it got to the point where he was successful with it, then he started to accept it. His mother, she figured, hey, can't beat him, might as well join him.
Kid Rock had the most amazing show ever that night.
But there were girls running on stage, taking their tops off.
Joey C. walking around with a bottle of champagne and all kinds of crazy stuff. There was something magical about that show that you knew this was it. This is it right here. This is it.
Afterwards, we arranged that we would meet in the basement of some disco somewhere in Detroit, and we had this very bizarre meeting.
And Bob proceeded to tell us his whole life story. He did a very, very good job of selling himself. He knew what he felt he was worth and what he wanted.
He was just like, if I'm going to go with a major record company, I want a major amount of money. I want some Michael Jackson. I want some Elvis. I want you to shut down Disney World for me and the crew, and that's it. He was offered a demo deal, but Bob didn't want a demo deal.
Jason at that point was still not comfortable in doing a deal yet because he wasn't sure that the songs were there.
So he was like, well, how about this? I'll go in and I'll record a couple songs and let you hear them.
He went in and cut these 2 songs. Somebody's Got to Feel This, and I Got One For You. I was driving on Hollywood Boulevard, and I put on Somebody's Got to Feel This. And I called him up and said, I'll give you whatever you want. And we made the deal on the phone.
Bob was really, really excited, like, we got the deal. The deal's there. This is it.
When he closed the deal with Atlantic, you know, everybody felt good, but I think Kid Rock kind of nervous because he knew it was songwriting time. Like, man, I have to do something that's going to work.
The first couple months of '98, we recorded that Without a Cause. In the back of your head, you're like, man, this is what needs to break us. This record needs to be big.
The pressure was on. He knew this was it. And he just kind of talked it into existence. I kept saying, I'm going platinum. You know, he really felt that this is it. I'm going platinum.
When he delivered the final album,
I'm going platinum.
we knew we had a masterpiece on our hands.
The first week, Devil Without a Cause, sold about 5,000 copies. The next week, it sold about a quarter of that.
I remember calling certain radio stations myself 20, 30 times to try to get them to put the record on the air.
When his album came out and the first 8 months that wasn't selling, he was like, damn.
We knew we had the artist who could sell it. We just didn't know if we could get it exposed to people.
We wanted to expose his live shows and let the industry know about it.
We wanted to try to up the ante and make it somehow even more of a spectacle.
Joe C. came riding in on this pony with a 6-shooter and a cowboy hat and what we were calling an electric pimp suit, but it was really just sort of like a leisure suit with some Christmas lights draped around him.
I'm a freak, call me sick. 3'9" with a 10-foot.
I remember Joey was so scared of this f***ing pony. Some people were just like, what the hell is this? A pony? Are you f***ing s***ing me?
Hey, yo, it's my boy Kid Rock. He's a real McCoy, but I'm Joe C, ho, and I want to be a cowboy.
It was, again, one of those shows where a lot of people walked out of it thinking it was a joke. But the people who got it immediately were converts. The big break for us came from the people at MTV.
The musical spasms of Kid Rock. A few of us at MTV were just championing Bob and just had suggested we thought he'd be great for Bash Me Loud. I had just never heard anything like that. He just killed it. And Joe C was just looking up all the model skirts. It was just stellar.
I remember watching Fashionably Loud and going, wow, here we go.
It was bang. I'm Kid Rock.
I'm here to kick your ass.
It was the first time the whole Kid Rock package had been displayed on TV. People just flipped out over that performance. That raised the question, who is this Kid Rock? What sealed the question is when he was on the '99 MTV Video Music Awards.
We were trying to come up with something that would be a hook.
Bob had the idea of trying to involve Run DMC because he's been a huge fan of theirs for years and years.
He did Ba with the Bod. That was when the world really got to know and love Kid Rock.
That night was the pivotal night in the whole cycle.
That was him showing his showmanship at its finest.
It was a great tribute to him that Errol Smith would show up to do this.
I had goosebumps. I was like, Bob is exactly where he should be. Right smack dab in the middle of his forefathers.
It was a ballsy performance. He's tossing the microphones. In fact, there's one toss in particular. He almost missed it.
It seemed like from that point, it was just cool to love Kid Rock.
It's just funny that it took so many other people so long to discover Kid Rock when he was kind of right in their face.
Kid Rock could have and should have given this up so many times, and he didn't.
He always wanted to prove somebody wrong, whether it was his dad or whether it was everybody.
I think Kid Rock's whole drive is to show his father, I'm going to become richer than you off of some shit you didn't want me to do.
Those two are much more alike than they'll actually say.
I mean, you had no choice but to respect him.
Bob's been on every level of the food chain that you can possibly be on. Bob lived in the ghetto. Bob slept in boxes.
To this day, Kid Rock got a ghetto pass in Detroit. That's the honest to God truth.
I asked him, I go, did you ever think you would ever be at this point in your life? And he goes, every day.